The reason you may not be getting the results you want with your specific person right now is because water and ice doesn't melt until it's above 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, wherever you're at, even if the starting temperature is negative 200 degrees, right? And you may also be thinking, Kyle, what does this have to do with my manifestation? But then that means right now, no matter where you're at, there is movement behind the scenes that's happening that's pushing your manifestation to that melting point. And that's when you're going to see all of your manifestation or all of the success come into your reality all at once, like the melting of an ice cube. If an ice cube starts at negative 180 degrees Fahrenheit and you're heating it up, you are going to see absolutely no progress until you reach 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. As soon as you get above that, that's when you start to see the results of the ice cube melting. And before that point, you wouldn't mention or state that everything before had no effect. You would know that every single thing you were doing was increasing the temperature. And so right now, this same idea is happening with your specific person. The melting point is the point at which you are going to see it in your reality. And just because you're not seeing this proof externally doesn't mean it's not happening. In the same way of the ice cube, just because it's not melting doesn't mean you aren't putting energy into the equation and into the system. So anytime you begin to think about your manifestation and go, where are my results? Where's my success? You're in the process of manifesting or melting the ice cube, right? And just because you're not seeing it, I don't want you to allow that to have you thinking that you're wasting all your time or your efforts are not producing the results you want, because they are. But it's just all happening, well, in the aspect of the ice cube. Your success is happening at a molecular level, or in our manifestation, it's happening behind the scenes. Because when you begin to feel and assume the state of the wish fulfilled, everyone and everything begins moving to make it happen. And so again, you're the creator of your entire reality. So things are moving beyond your conscious awareness because your subconscious is making it happen. So right now, your specific person is hearing a song that reminds them of you, or thinking about their perfect partner, and you're the face of that perfect partner. Or maybe they want to text you when they're in the process of texting you right now, or in the process of calling you, or thinking about how they should ask you out on a date. There are an unlimited amount of ways in which your specific person or movement can be happening behind the scenes that we are totally overlooking, all because we're not seeing the results we want in our 3D. But when we go back to that example of the ice cube, we all would know if you were at negative 180 degrees and you were warming it up, and let's say me being your friend, I said to you, this isn't working, let's give up. It's never going to melt. You would look at me crazy and be like, Kyle, this is how it works. Like, there's so much energy, there's so much change happening, we just don't know what it is. And this idea, I think, also is introduced, if you guys know Joseph Murphy, I'm sure you've read a book by him before on the law of assumption. He talks about the same idea, but with melting metal. He talks about, and I think I made a video for you a long time ago on that, where metal doesn't melt until its melting point, right? And a blacksmith, if you were a blacksmith and you were melting this metal, I'm like, nothing's happening. It's all the same. I think we should give up. Again, in the same way as the ice cube, you'd be like, Kyle, that's not how it works. Just wait, be patient. You tell me to be patient, right? So that's the same thing we can do when it comes to our manifestation. And I always like to state or think about the concept that every single goal that you can ever have is under this idea that stuff is going to be happening behind the scenes, or you're not going to get the results you seemingly want instantaneously until you reach that melting point. right? If you start learning French, if you start playing the guitar, right? You're not going to be good at it, right? And the first sort of instances of our reality changing towards our manifestation is going to be the feeling that we have within or the assumptions that we have within. And as you get into the state, you're going to see that you become happier, more motivated, more abundant, right? All of these awesome, amazing feelings start rising. And those are the feelings and emotions and assumptions we have in our end state. And again, we wouldn't say nothing is happening. We're getting in the process of it. As in the same way, if you started playing the guitar and you weren't instantly playing this crazy song, you wouldn't be like, well, I guess I can't know it. You'd be like, that's the whole process of learning guitar. So this is the same process of learning or manifesting. And I know in my other videos, I talk about the concept of letting go of time, because time has nothing to do with your manifestation, but sometimes we can condition to make it feel like it is. And so if you haven't checked that video out, I definitely would. But it's then this assumption that we don't know what starting temperature we're beginning at. Like if you take ice, you really don't know what temperature it's at. And that's the starting point, and it's like our manifestation. We don't know. The starting point is whatever our assumptions are or what conditions we put on our manifestation. And by conditions, I mean, if you think your specific person has to text you in order to date, then that's a condition. Or you have to go on dates in order to be in a relationship. That's a condition. Technically, none of that needs to happen, but it's usually something that we enjoy and that we like. So we start to manifest or create that. So however amount or many conditions you are setting on your manifestation is your starting point of temperature. Because again, ice at 0 degrees looks the same as ice at negative 50 degrees and negative 100 degrees. It all looks exactly the same. And so we don't know that starting point. And if you do want to change that initial temperature, it all has to do with those conditions and asking yourself, why do I feel such and such needs to happen in order for me to get that? But then that's the power of manifestation and the power of how we are actually changing so many things behind the scenes, even if it doesn't feel like it, because we are putting heat into this equation by affirmations, by visualizations, by journaling. All of those are adding to that temperature, are pushing us towards our manifestation. So don't worry if you're not seeing the results that you want. That's okay, right? That's all a part of the process. And again, like you said to me when we were melting that ice, of Kyle, relax. The ice is melting. I guarantee you. I've seen not liquid ice, water before. You would say, Kyle, it's working. Like, you don't even have to believe me. We'll just do it and you'll see for yourself. And that's how I'm looking at you and your manifestation. You don't have to worry. You've seen people manifest their specific person before. I've seen it a lot. So that's the same thing. Just have the faith that it is occurring and happening, regardless of what is happening around you in your external. Because most of the time, the things are happening behind the scenes. Because most of everything that we experience is happening outside of our social or our conscious awareness. Like, right? What's in the other portion of your house? What's happening on the road? If you're at work, what's happening at your house? You're like, I don't know. It's outside of that conscious awareness. So most of things happen outside of our conscious awareness. So most of the movement happening with our manifestation is also going to be outside of our conscious awareness, because that's our belief. But if you do have any questions about this, definitely leave them down in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys have been waiting for that ice to melt. If you did want to send me a personal question or personal success, or ask me a question about your own manifestation, head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. I would love to hear your situation and your manifestation. Thank you so much for stopping by today as well, and I'll see you in the next video.